Welcome back. As promised, we continue our discussion on a regulatory framework for the Christian faith. We are joined by Dr. John Malomo, a member of the Section 22 Ad Hoc Committee for the Christian sector. Dr. Malomo, good to have you on the program this evening. Firstly, why did the CRL Rights Commission even see it as a necessary step to initiate a self-regulatory framework, specifically for the Christian sector at this time?
Good evening, my brother, and it's an honor for me to be here. You know, first of all, I think we need to put things into perspective. CRL Commission is a Chapter 9 institution in our country's constitutional democracy. It has got the powers and mandates derived from the constitution of this country. And one of its mandate is to promote and to protect the citizens against abuses, be it in cultural settings, religious settings, and linguistic settings. In terms of the laws that govern CRL, it has got the power through its Section 22, in terms of its act, to appoint committees from time to time to help it to deal with whatever issue that they deem fit. And in this case, they found it fit to institute a committee, Section 22 committee, comprising totally of church leaders to look into the self-regulation within the Christian sector. And there I say that it's not only the Christian sector that is a focus. There will be a Muslim Section 22, Rastafarian, the Jewish, African spiritual, traditional churches. So not churches, traditions. So it's not only confined to this. So in a nutshell, we derive our mandate from a legitimate constitutional body empowered by both the constitution and the law.
So the committee also emphasizes that this process is led by Christians themselves. How was the Section 22 Ad Hoc Committee then constituted to ensure broad representation?
Yeah, when the CRL Commission decided to embark on this project, they went through a process of almost 6 months, consulting with broad representative umbrella bodies of churches in this country. And to name but a few, we have big churches like ZCC, St. Agnes ZCC. You have the Nazareth Baptist Church, which is commonly known as the Shembe, with millions of followers in the country. The South African Council of Churches, which represent almost all the mainline churches, including the Catholic and other traditions. We have the Council for African Independent Churches, representing all the African churches in this country. We have the Evangelical Alliance of South Africa, also representing a sizable millions of Christians into this country. We have the Rima Church that represent the charismatic movements in this country. And then we have got other bodies that are now part of the Section 22. We have 4 women in our Section 22 as we speak right now as well. So we are as broad, and we are not thumb-sucking when we say we represent a more overwhelming majority of Christians in this country.
So there are strong assurances that this framework does not threaten freedom of religion. How does the draft then protect constitutional rights while also promoting accountability?
As I indicated, the committee derives from a constitutional body, guaranteed in law, in terms of the legislation governing CRL. I think we must put things right. You know, CRL is not a body outside the constitution of this country that is subordinate to what we call it advocacy groups that comes up yet time and again and want to subject it to themselves. CRL is a constitutional body, and therefore it cannot violate the constitution. And let me also say, there's no one in this country that can tamper with the freedom of religion based on the freedoms that we enjoy, that is enshrined in our constitution.
Yeah. You speak openly about abuse, exploitation, and even moral failure within parts of the church. How difficult was it then for the committee to confront these realities honestly?
Yeah, the other thing that we say, the committee is an ad hoc committee as it stands right now. It has not confronted anything. It has got no mandate to investigate anything, no mandate to defend anything. Our mandate is very clear in terms of our terms of reference. We are to set up a process of consultation across the board as widely as possible from every corner and nook of our country. Everybody should be consulted. And then we are to draw up a guideline for these conversations. All that we have done, we launched on Friday a draft self-regulatory framework, which will form the backbone or the basis for our interaction and conversation with our church bodies. We launched this on Friday, and really we expected people to spend time to look at it, study it, seek counsel on it, and avoid using one person as a legal reference for all the issues that pertains to legal issues. So we're not yet at the point where we can say we are regulating or we are self-regulating. It's a draft document, my brother. If you look at it, it's very clear, very specific. It's not complicated. It's not threatening anybody's liberty or freedom. So and it's open for inputs and for improvement. And we hope after the process of consultation, we'll come up with a report that when we submit, it will usher in the council that we are proposing then, which will then be able to implement what the churches would have agreed on.
Yeah. But can you explain how the three pillars, governance, ethical conduct, and legal compliance, how will these practically change how churches operate on the ground?
Oh, in a big way. In a big way. Firstly, by internal governance and accountability. It is required that those who open a church and operate a church in this country, and we are not saying the established churches are not doing this. Established churches are doing that. But by governance, we mean we're encouraging strong governance in the sense that churches must register properly, and then they must have a proper constitution. They must have policies that governs their affairs, policies that protects children, policies that protects HR-related issues, that regulates HR issues. All kinds of policies must be in place. That's what we mean by internal governance. That means every church must have that on its own so that it can promote accountability, transparency, and clarity in terms of our leadership. How do we appoint leaders? How we dispense of leaders? And then how the integrity of our operations, one. Two, in terms of the code of ethics, which is the second leg of our proposal, the code of ethics and professional conduct, we suggest things that we believe should be included in the code of conduct. Now, a code of conduct is a self-regulating mechanism. As journalists, you would know, you subscribe to a code of conduct in terms of your profession and in terms of your calling. So a code of conduct simply says, it's not a state regulation. It's simply saying, these are the standards by which you can judge me as a pastor, as a church leader. I'm affirming my commitment to act with compassion. I'm affirming my commitment to protect the vulnerable, to maintain boundaries, and to uphold the highest moral standards. That's what the Code of Conduct enshrines. Lastly, the legal and regulatory compliance issues. We encourage churches to fulfill their existing civic duties, from proper registration and child protection. And my brother, if I'm to make an example, during the COVID exposed the vulnerability of churches, particularly in the township, black churches, in that most black churches could not access, for example, TESA. You remember the emergency relief funds that government availed to those that were most vulnerable. And some of my friends, pastors, were saying, but government is excluding us, government is not looking after churches. But I said, every person who is an employer in this country, and is legally compliant. That means you pay your UIF, you pay your taxes, you could then access the relief funds. So most white churches and pastors access those funds, and many of my fellow brothers and sisters, who today some of them are churches, the churches remain closed, could not access that because of lack of compliance, because of lack of governance structures. So this is aimed at really empowering the poorest and the most vulnerable in our sector.
Yeah. Dr. Malomo, as we round up our conversation, the proposed Christian Practice Council for Ethics and Accountability, I mean, this has also raised debate. What safeguards are in place to even prevent it from becoming punitive or authoritarian in style?
The members of the churches that we are going to engage throughout the country will make sure, because we don't have a predetermined document that says we are threatening, there's an underlying agenda somewhere. That cannot happen because the Constitution would not allow that. And I just want to warn our brothers and sisters there, don't be scared by people who are peddling this issue of freedom of religion. Freedom of religion is not in threat in South Africa. It can never happen. What we are crying for are the victims that remains faceless, that remains unprotected, and no one speaking for them. Those who are speaking loudly now as pushbackers are protecting the powerful perpetrators of abuses in the church. This process is meant for everyone in the Christian sector to engage with the document, debate it. Don't take it from one person who came in 1983 as a white person into this country and today claims to be a force for good, when all that he exists for is freedom of religion, not to empower the poor in the townships that we are struggling with day to day, because our churches remains disempowered because we don't have governance structures, training structures, and this is what we are calling for.
That was Dr. John Malomo, a member of the Section 22 Ad Hoc Committee for the Christian Sector, speaking on the CRL Rights Commission's launch, this of a draft self-regulatory framework for churches. Now, this draft is now open for nationwide consultation, with the faith leaders, congregations, and also the public encouraged to participate in really shaping the final document, as you've heard from Dr. Malomo explaining their processes as well.